Welcome back, Alpha Hunters. Hope everybody's having a great and magnificent Monday. Yeah, we need to take a look and see what's going on today. Nothing crazy. Small caps getting hit pretty good, but take a look at other things going on in the marketplace. SPY, kind of a quiet day. Not a whole lot kind of going on. We did have a little bit of a gap up here today. Obviously, we're not continuing. Kind of mentioned that on Friday, on Market Outlook video as well. Like, don't try to go bullish right here. It's not the best spot. So yeah, nice little 0.17% of a gap up. Traded up very initially there on SPY. Nice little pullback. Kind of more choppy here the first half of the day. We had a little bit of a rollover here about 2 hours ago. That lasted about an hour and 15 minutes. And a little bit of a bounce here off that low bout for the past 45 minutes. So that's about how the day's gone. And yeah, for the most part, just quiet. Not too much going on. Nothing like last week yet. Not yet. Qs did push a little bit higher. Not unexpected. Push a little bit higher after last week's bullishness. The thing that was kind of interesting, the SPY actually hasn't pushed and broke Friday's high. So I'd imagine that probably does happen at some point. Maybe tomorrow. It kind of makes sense to me. So that's Qs. Yeah, Qs a little bit more bullish today than the SPY, especially on the open. IWM though, IWM's getting hit pretty good, down 1.4%. They've been down over 1.5% today. I mean, they were just getting hit right on the open. Didn't really gap at all, but definitely got down 1.76% on the day, down to at least the lows. So yeah, kind of an interesting one there on the IWM. Don't really know why it got hit as much. Doesn't really make sense in my opinion, other than the fact of people maybe just taking the opportunity to just sell out, I guess, on a very strong week that was for the IWM last week, especially on Thursday, Friday. So maybe just a little bit more of a pause here for the IWM. So yeah, we'll see. Anyways, I would still rather be bullish on the IWM over the Qs. That's just kind of the way I see it. But yeah, you do you. DIA. All right, I gotta check and see what the long terms are. What the long terms in the SPY. We're kind of in between the 100, 200 Qs. Sitting right on the 100 for the Qs. IWM way below both the 100 and 200 on the IWM. DIA kind of in between the 100, 200. Still sitting like right here on this 340 level. Yeah, it's all right. I wouldn't really want to touch it. Just wouldn't want. I wouldn't want to mess with anything right now. Actually, I say that, but really, if you're gonna try and be bearish, like that's a pretty good spot. It's a pretty good spot there, at least on the DIA. RSP, the equal weight SP 500, and this is what's the interesting part is if you take away big tech, well, what's the majority of the market doing? Well, if you take away the weighting of big tech, well, the SP 500 is actually down 0.75 percent. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting one. So there is some bearishness actually coming out today, even though the RSP did gap up a little bit. Okay. Does that make sense with the heat map? Yeah, I would say that makes sense with the heat map. Look, quite a bit of red, especially in the financials area. Even tech, quite a bit of tech stuff. I see a lot more tech red than green. Lily's actually having a pretty good day. Tesla's down pretty good. Amazon's up a little bit. Energies are down. Manufacturing's down. GE's actually positive. What is this? BH. Oh, booking. Booking.com. Yeah is up pretty good. What is this up today? 3.76%. Looking pretty good. Health services. So yeah, there's definitely quite a bit more red out there than green, definitely. But there's quite a bit of gray, which basically means flat with trading within 0.5% of neutrality for the day. So, but yeah, seeing the equal weight SP 500 pull down that much just kind of tells you a lot of stocks out there not doing all that well. All right, so we got those two Federal Reserve balance sheet data. Probably going to get rid of this mostly because I don't think this tracks. I don't feel like this tracks. I don't know what this tracks, but it doesn't. It doesn't track what I want it to, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can find something else. VIX. I mean, look at that VIX move last week. Look at that VIX move. My gosh, I mean that's a crush on the VIX all week last week. All right, so VIX up a little bit. Okay, VIX is up, kind of like we would be down. Kind of a little bit more flat than anything else. Dollar did break down earlier in the night. Get rid of the long terms. Earlier in the morning, coming off the lows, looks like it wants to kind of turn up. All right. GLD Gold Trust. Yeah, GLD Gold. They just look more tired than anything else. They ripped pretty good amount there in October. I would be hands off here on gold. 10-year yield. This is the interesting one. So, kind of looking at this one late last week, we came and snagged this low, this wick. We just basically snagged under the 50 EMA here, but we didn't close down there. So. Having a nice little bounce today, and I would say if the 10-year yield actually climbs very strong here for the next couple of days, I would be very interested to see what the stock market actually does in that scenario. I am not saying it is going to do that. I wouldn't put a penny on it that would happen. I'm just saying with how much I would say pressure that got relieved, I would be very interested to see what would happen if a lot of that kind of pressure came back as quickly. What the stock market would do. So, anyways, that was the only thing I was kind of trying to allude to, because I mean it looks pretty good. I mean, looking pretty good. Kind of just slowly grinding higher. And I guess if whatever has been selling or not buying bonds for the previous several months, and if they saw the last 3 days of last week as an opportunity to like, oh yeah, I want to sell my bonds now. I mean, are we going to see a strong enough bounce to get it back to maybe the higher ends of last week? Where we at Monday, Tuesday. Anyways, that's just kind of my thoughts. All right, 10-year 2 inversion, kind of just hanging out. This thing got crushed last Wednesday, Thursday. Friday had a little bit of a bounce back, mostly because the 2-year yield on Friday got absolutely annihilated. This thing got absolutely annihilated on Friday. Nice little bounce back day today, though. Nice bounce back day today. Okay, HYG pulling back a little bit. Very strong Wednesday, Thursday, Friday last week. LQD, pulling back Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, pretty strong. That was TLT. Okay, yeah. TLT kind of looks like the LQD. Strong bounce at the end of the week last week. Nice little drop today so far. So I guess really what would be the thing that you would want to analyze, and I mean really, really analyze this. I mean, you even look here on the weekly, the 10-year yield here on the weekly. When was the last time before last week it hit the 10 EMA on a weekly? Well, all the way back to the last week of August. So it had been about 2 months. It had been roughly 2 months. So even before that, most of the times it had interacted with that 10 EMA, it mostly just been wicks. Like it hadn't really closed like at it or even opened at it for a while, going all the way back to like the summer, July, June months. So it's just kind of an interesting look there on the weekly. I mean, that looks more like it just kind of pulled back to the moving averages and maybe it continues higher here over the next couple weeks. The one thing I will say, if we have a drop off this week, like we had the bullishness last week, I would imagine that would not be taken well in the market. I would imagine that there would be a lot of people seriously panicking about that because a lot of people, especially some stuff I saw over the weekend, are extremely bullish on the amount of breadth that we saw last week. I mean, out of the 5 ETFs that I tracked the market here, SPY, Qs, IWM. I mean, they all had it, especially Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The IWM absolutely crushed it. DIA had it. I mean, they all participated, so that's why we know that breadth across a lot of stocks, across a lot of the market. I mean, they were participating. So, just kind of what I would like to see what happens if we wind up selling down, but I don't think we will. Not nearly as strong as what we were last week. Let's take a look at sector performance. Let's see here. Real estate, yeah, lagging behind. Energy's lagging behind. Financials lagging. Communications, XLC, lagging behind. Okay, materials, industrials lagging. Discretionary also lagging behind on the day. Okay. So we saw Tesla was down like 2%, so that makes sense there. Tech outperforming, utilities outperforming, staples, healthcare outperforming. That's interesting sector rotation for the day. I would be very cautious on this market. Strongly cautious on this market. Wow. So the 3 defensive sectors are leading the day. Tech. The XLK is positive, but a lot of that probably has to do with AAPL's up about 1%. But I wouldn't have expected to see defensive sectors kind of up there outperforming on the day. Let's see what price action is for the day. Yeah, price action for the day. You have those 3 defensive sectors outpacing on the price action of the day since the open. Tech's kind of in line with the market. Materials underperforming, industrials underperforming, communications underperforming, financials, discretionaries, real estate, and energies all underperforming. And energies over the past couple of hours here have just been absolutely crushed. Yeah, the thing that's very interesting. So yeah, we're seeing the rise in yields. Yields are jumping. I mean, I would not be willing to bet this week that we end back down at the lows of last week. But there was some things about last week that I know a lot of people want to say the breadth was fantastic. And it was. It was really solid. But we didn't have like crazy strong volumes like you would see normally at a bottom. We didn't have crazy strong bullish volumes. I mean, even on the days we ripped higher, on the Qs we were having declining volumes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Which I guess that would kind of make sense since we did have FOMC on Wednesday. Pretty strong volumes there on the SPY Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but it wasn't like up. Volumes weren't like way up. They should have been way up. Like if you're expecting a bottom, DIA, something like that. Maybe like that on a DIA on Thursday. Like that's a pretty good spike there on volumes. That's what you'd want to see. So yeah, I don't know. Especially with sector rotation, something smells a little weird. But I mean, we did push extremely hard last week, so maybe things are just resting. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.